Today we're talking about thinking patterns that can get you stuck, thinking patterns that can get you unstuck. We're delving into the dynamics of creativity, divergent thinking, and logic, convergent thinking in the book writing process because you need both, but not necessarily at the same time. So, what is divergent thinking? That is the thinking that embraces complexity, curiosity, imagination, play, discovery. This is where you're exploring multiple possibilities and taking risks. Some examples might be mind mapping, free writing, journaling, brainstorming. For example, when you're brainstorming ideas for your book, you're actively engaging in divergent thinking. Well, what about convergent thinking then? What is that? Convergent thinking, on the other hand, is all about logic, accuracy, structure. This is the thinking pattern that you're using when you're looking for that one best solution, that best path forward. So, examples would be creating outlines, categorizing information, problem solving. So, when you're organizing all of your thoughts into a structured outline or you're identifying patterns in your research, you are employing convergent thinking. Both are essential. To create a book that resonates with your readers, we need to balance both types of thinking because divergent thinking that fuels your creativity and convergent thinking brings structure and clarity to your ideas. All right, so when do we use one and when do we use another? Let's talk a little bit about that. So, divergent thinking. When do you use divergent thinking? When you first decide to write a nonfiction book, you're going to start exploring your topic. You have an area of expertise that you know really well, and now you're going to explore your topic, and that is divergent thinking. You're playing with ideas. You're looking at your interests, your expertise, your passion. You're looking at different points of view. You're playing around with ideas because honestly, if you're an expert in a particular subject area, you could probably write 5 books. So, this first book, what topic is it going to be? And you're going to play around with ideas to come up with that. Next, analogies and metaphors. This is about playing with language. It's amazing when you can play with language to find an analogy or a metaphor that resonates with readers, that they understand. If you're taking them to a world that they don't know, but you bring an analogy from a world they do know, they can bring those together and have better understanding. And that is a form of divergent thinking. Next, problem identification. When you are trying to figure out, what the problems are in the topic, what are these big problems that you need to tackle? You want to look at it from different perspectives. It's hard sometimes when you're the expert. I know the answer, I know the problem, I know the answer, I've got it. But the truth is, you may not understand the problem from every angle. And if you don't understand the problem from the reader's angle, you're going to struggle getting the right content into your book. So, identifying the problem is playing with ideas, right? Testing out different areas where the reader may be struggling. And that is divergent thinking. And part of that is alternate perspectives, looking at it from somebody who agrees with you 100%, looking at it from a reader who has no idea what the answers are, looking at it from another expert who has a completely different opinion and has done different research and has a different conclusion. So, having those alternate perspectives really helps you write a book that is very clear to readers and also doesn't discount or ignore some other things that readers have heard, because if you ignore what's out there, they might say, oh, this person isn't to be trusted. You want to bring in all of that, and that's divergent thinking. Writing your first draft. You do not edit while you're writing your first draft. You want to be playful. You want to be free writing. You want to be playing with ideas and enjoying the process. You're not editing when you're writing your first draft. You're using divergent thinking, lots of play, lots of fun, I know a lot of authors are like, it is not fun, and I get it. But if you get rid of that convergent thinking, that looking for that one right answer, that one perfect word, and just stay in your divergent thinking process where you're allowing things to come out. You can fix things later, just allowing things to be fluid. You'll find that writing your first draft will be so much easier. And then creative exercises and activities. A lot of books, especially nonfiction books these days, in business and wellness, readers want to be able to apply these ideas. And if you are using your divergent thinking to think up really creative exercise and activities that readers can do, it'll be really helpful to you and to the readers. All right, when do we bring our convergent thinking into our book writing process? Obviously, your book concept. For your book concept, you want that one statement. You want to narrow down everything into one clear, concise statement that you will be checking on. Everything you write needs to fit into this. And also, that's great for other people. In one sentence, they can understand exactly what this book is about. Research synthesis. Now, you've done in divergent thinking, you've played with ideas, you've gone out and you've looked at all the research, you've been really open to what's possible, but now you're going to synthesize all of that. You're going to summarize and just going to look at each piece. You're going to synthesize it all down, and related to that is the evidence evaluation. As you're synthesizing it, you can evaluate it. Is it from a good source? Is it accurate? Right? Is it appropriate for your book? You can start uh, evaluating the evidence and deciding what you're going to put in and what you're going to leave out. And then, of course, argument structure. In order to convince people, you absolutely have to use emotion, storytelling, analogies, metaphors, all those beautiful pieces that you're going to find in your divergent thinking. But in your convergent thinking, you need to have a clear argument structure. You can't just say, it's like this. You have to lay out your argument in a logical order, in a good sequence, coming to a logical conclusion so that people can follow it and they're with you. They believe you, they buy in. Outline creation. So once you have all of this material, you have to say, okay, if this is my book concept, what is my concept statement for chapter 1? Everything in that chapter has to relate to that. Chapter 2, chapter 3. And then looking at all this information and all this research and all this brainstorming, what belongs in chapter 1? What belongs in chapter 2? What belongs in chapter 3? You're organizing your outline so that when you do get to writing, it's a lot easier. And after that first draft, you're going to start entering editing and revision. And that's when you start using your convergent thinking and you can start saying, is this in the right place? Is this the right word? Is this the right grammar? All of that stuff comes in your editing and in your revision. All right. So, divergent and convergent thinking both have their place in your book writing process. And I get that some of us are more divergent thinkers and some of us are more convergent thinkers, but you actually need both. So it's, think about, embracing both. So embracing both while you're writing. And I know that can be hard. So here's a couple of things to do. Assess your thinking style. That's number one. Assess your thinking style. So just take a moment and reflect on your current writing process. Are you feeling overwhelmed by an abundance of ideas? Like you're such a divergent thinker and you're not bringing it down into narrowing things down? Or are you struggling to organize your thoughts? You can't kind of bring it down to coherent structure? Or are you good at some and not good at others? Like, I can do my first draft beautifully, but I can't edit and revise. Think about your thinking style and figure out, am I more a divergent thinker or am I more a convergent thinker? And then number two, if you need more creativity, if you need more divergent thinking, then try engaging in divergent thinking exercises like mind mapping and free thinking and free writing, pardon me, and brainstorming. Um, Allow yourself to explore unconventional ideas and perspectives. I'm going to go find someone who doesn't agree with me and I'm going to ask them why. I'm going to listen and I'm going to try to agree with them and I'm going to find reasons they're right. Just going to play with that. Or On the other side, if you need to use more convergent thinking, then start giving yourself a structured plan. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video on divergent thinking, and I'm going to do a divergent on video. No, I'm going to do a video on divergent thinking. I'm going to do a video on convergent thinking, and that's going to help you. Now you know what they are and what activities, and you can kind of assess where you are. I'll do a video on both, so wherever you feel stuck, you can watch that video and help yourself get unstuck, so you enjoy your book writing way more than the average author who is struggling. I don't want anyone to struggle. So if you have questions, please just let me know, and I'll drop the links to those other videos down below as soon as they're out. Happy writing.